how have you not pulled for Boot Hill, for Firefly, for Fei Zhao, for Ling Shi? I just don't want any of those characters. You're probably wondering a few things. Who is Bro? Why is he yapping like this? And why didn't he pull for any of those balked units? Let me answer your questions right now. I'm Bro. I attempted Memory of Chaos properly for the first time in a while, and well, I'm not a meta guy. I've strayed away from pulling for units just because they're broken or meta. I pull characters because I like them. So it led me to thinking, just how far can I go with my favourite characters? Can I make it all the way to MOC 12? Can I 3-star it? Well, let's find out. So for team comps, this was pretty straightforward. My favourite character is Topaz, so naturally we're going with a follow-up team. Dr. Ratio, Robin, and Aventurine in tow. Not Fei Zhao. I didn't pull for Fei Zhao because she was right before Topaz. As for the other team, I genuinely had no idea what I was going to rock until I actually got into MOC. We could run Dockeron here. We could run Dockeron. See, I could have just gone with DOT, but to put it simply, DOT has fallen off, man, so I went with Dockeron. For those of you that don't know, it's like a DOT team, except when you can't kill an enemy with DOT and stacks, you kill them with Acheron. It's fair to say I'm a bit rusty when it comes to locking in on Star Rail. It really has just become my casual game that I'll pick up whenever there's a new character coming out, or if there's a story that I want to do. You know, hey, a man has to get his content, you know, so I have to do the story. But when it comes to these teams, I know them fairly well. You know, follow-ups just need a few things set up for them, and then the damage starts flying in. So I'm sure it'll be important to give them a good number of turns to make sure they can comfortably clear things. As for Dockeron, it's pretty simple. You build DOT, and at the same time you build up stacks for Acheron, and Hua tries her best to keep the team alive. The early levels weren't too bad, just a case of learning when to skill and when to normal with certain characters, which, you know, trust me, when you haven't played for a while, you're still gonna have some problems with. The longest parts for early levels were honestly me just losing focus and vibing to Robin's ultimate song, because that thing is an absolute banger. Hit that shit!
I hit the mark.
Level 7 was a piece of cake, but level 8 had the goddamn meme. Which luckily is weak to DOT, but it could still prove a nightmare, especially without the simulated universe buffs that allow you to just run through it in about like 2 seconds. I can't lie, it's hard to make content when things are going well. It really is just, I'm gonna tell you about how well I'm doing, but that's when we get to level 9. Yes. Level 9 of 12. When I tell you this game catered to those new characters, I mean it. The big issue I was seeing here was one side had all of the weaknesses that made Dockeron the go-ahead. Only issue, one enemy wasn't weak to wind, making Black Swan's use a lot less. The other side, when really looking at it, was a lot easier. The big bosses were weak to fire and imaginary, so the follow-up team would be absolutely fine. I had no issues with thinking that the teams could do it, but this was when reality began setting in. Realistically, as long as I played well, kept an eye on buffs, skill points and such, I could probably beat level 12 with a few attempts and a case of trial and error. But damage output was going to become an issue. And this is where we get into the meta stuff. We're really in sort of like a weakness break meta, hence the gimmick for Memory of Chaos being Exo Toughness, which means characters like Firefly, Boot Hill, Fei Zhao and Rapper are all great options. They just so happen to be the options that are the newest and the options I don't have. But when has being unprepared, ill-equipped and unaware of the horrors ahead ever stopped me? A lot. It has actually stopped me a lot. But it wouldn't stop me today. I was determined to see how far I could truly go. Level 9 looked rough, but through taking my time, thinking things out, and a few ultimate saves here and there, I was able to get through relatively risk-free on the Dockeron side. Then it came to the follow-up side, and I was nervous. Not because of the IPC robots, those are annoying, but it was because of one thing. Oh god, Gorilla. This thing hits hard, and if you know anything about Hunt characters, shield or not, they are frail. So my strategy had to change to making sure Aventurine was locked onto whenever the Gorilla was about to attack. Trust me, I've got a plan here. He's going to attack Aventurine, and Aventurine is just going to tank that. The Ape is going to attack before Aventurine, but it's fine because we have ratio with full shield. So I'm not too worried. If I'm meant to be worried, then Rutro. Nice. I'm really not getting a lot of crits, man. Oh man. Oh god, he's got the performance points. He's buffed up. He's juiced, bro. Ah, I was fine not to. There we go. Nice. Level 9 was in the rear view mirror, and now it's time for level 10. This is a step up because it features Cocolia, our first proper boss of this MOC run. Annoyingly, she's weak to fire, lightning, and quantum, and almost no one on that side was weak to imaginary, so you'd think I'd go with Dockeron here. Nope. The other side was weak to wind and lightning, so I saw that as an absolute layup, and I figured I could just play out of my mind to get past Cocolia by making Topaz my main damage dealer and shield breaker for this one fight. This starts the Numby kneecap breaker saga. Numby, break her kneecaps. Numby, crease her Jordans, bro. Yeah, Numby, I really need you to break her kneecaps right now, man. Yeah, the fact that these guys get this many turns, I'm never a fan of this. I'm always worried that, like, bad RNG is going to get one of my people killed, like, straight away. I'll be fine. There's no way RNG will ruin this run and subsequently cost me in an entire fight. But in all honesty, I was right. Dockeron obliterated the first side based on weaknesses alone. There were some scary moments, but through playing smart and playing safe, I was able to advance. What's the pipeline? What's our out? This is our out. Oh, okay. The follow-up side wasn't as smooth. I got confident. Some might even say too confident, and it almost bit me in the ass way too many times for my liking. See, this is where the problem's gonna come in, right? Because Cocolia, I hate Cocolia. Not as a character, but just fighting against Cocolia just pisses me off. And I clicked the wrong button. It does mean we don't have a skill point for ratio. I should have looked at the turn order a little bit more there. Oh god. Okay, at least we have a skill point to shield up here. Oh my god, stop going after Topaz. Crazy, bro. But despite my overconfidence, I was able to get through level 10 relatively unscathed. But reality began setting in when we got to level 11. That right there is what we call an unwinnable scenario. Looking at the recommended types, it was clear I was in for a very tricky battle, one that I was unlikely to get done. I had the feeling that 3-starring level 12 was impossible for me in my current team setups, but even level 11 was looking impossible too. See, whilst the follow-up team have access to Imaginary, which would in theory make Kafka relatively easy if we just focus on her, it's her debuffs and statuses that mean that we had to run Dockeron for that one side for Huahua's debuffing. Not too much of a problem, but the deer is where things become almost impossible. Sure, we could beat the deer with the follow-up team, but there was no telling how many turns that would take due to a lot of the deer's multiple branches alongside it. Level 11 looked set to be called The Wall. A barrier that would require a ton of locking in and planning to get done. It also took up 17 minutes of a 51-minute recording, so yeah. The Docron side started completely fine. I was worried immediately due to the sheer amount of statuses and crowd controls being thrown out, but Hua Hua was our shining star, giving additional healing with every one of my unit's turns, making risky plays less risky. With the first wave of that fight done, it was time for Kafka, and this is where RNG actually does bite me in the arse. Things weren't going well to begin with as turn orders kept getting thrown around, which, makes planning moves trickier, but to make matters worse... Oh, please no. Kafka kills Black Swan, officially losing us our first star of this fight. I mean, I'm still going to try and beat it, but I think I've hit my wall here, honestly. I came here with a purpose, though, and I wasn't going to throw this out just because I didn't get the 3 stars. I was going to see this through to the very end, regardless of how many stars I earn. But without Black Swan, getting Acheron's ultimate and doing DOT damage suddenly became a lot harder. Our entire strategy had been slowed down, and it showed. Our turns went down, but so did Kafka's HP. We can beat Kafka, we're not beating the deer. Here we go. How many turns have I given the follow-up to?
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Yep, that's right. 2 turns to beat the deer in order to get a 2-star. 2-starring was a fleeting dream, but you know what wasn't a fleeting dream? Beating this deer and at least beating level 11. I locked in, played smartly, and I was able to get through the first wave in 2 turns. Which just left the deer, and honestly, there isn't much to say here. I probably played as well as I could because I think at this point, it wasn't about the stars. It was about the friends we made along the way, right? Right? Yeah, Numby, break his kneecaps, bro. The deer was defeated, and because of that, I just wanted to see, morbid curiosity and all that, what awaited me should I dare to try level 12 of Memory of Chaos. Oh no, I'm good. Oh, I'm good.